In the spring of 2019, Crystal Lake, Illinois looked the way it always had. Tree-lined streets. Well-kept homes. School buses stopping at familiar corners. It was the kind of suburban town built around routine. Parents left for work in the morning, children were dropped off at school, neighbors recognized each other's cars. Nothing about daily life suggested danger. Inside one of those homes lived a 5-year-old boy named AJ Freund. To the outside world, AJ was easy to miss. He was small for his age. Quiet, not disruptive. The kind of child who blended into the background. But inside that home, something was wrong. And it had already been noticed. By the time AJ Freund died, he was not unknown to authorities. This is important. Child Protective Services had already intervened. Reports had already been made. Concerns had already been documented. This was not a case where warning signs were invisible. AJ lived with his father, Andrew Freund, and his stepmother, Kimberly Freund. Months before AJ's death, the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services had become involved after allegations of physical abuse surfaced. The concerns were not vague. They were not anonymous rumors. Marks had been observed on AJ's body. Accounts were taken seriously enough to act. AJ was removed from the home. For a period of time, he was placed in protective custody. And in that moment, the system did what it was designed to do. Removal is one of the most serious actions a child welfare system can take. It means the risk is no longer theoretical. It means harm is considered likely or ongoing. It means the home is no longer viewed as safe. For AJ, removal meant separation from the people responsible for him. It meant temporary safety. It meant that someone, somewhere, had decided his situation crossed a line. But removal is rarely meant to be permanent. In child welfare systems across the United States, reunification is the stated goal. Parents are given plans, conditions are set, compliance is monitored. The idea is repair. But repair assumes change. And change is difficult to measure. After AJ was removed, Andrew Freund was given requirements. Parenting classes. Counseling. Supervised visits. On paper, progress was made. Reports indicated compliance. Boxes were checked. Procedures were followed. The system does not function on instinct, it functions on documentation. And documentation suggested improvement. At some point, the decision was made. AJ could return home. This was not done secretly. It followed policy. It followed a review. But policy does not live inside a house. When AJ was returned to his father's care, the system closed one chapter and opened another. From the outside, reunification was framed as success, a family restored, a case resolved. But inside the home, conditions did not improve. They worsened. Discipline escalated. Control replaced care. Violence became routine. AJ was 5 years old. He had no ability to leave. No ability to report what was happening. No ability to contradict adults. The very people meant to protect him now had him back, with fewer eyes watching. What happened inside that home was not a single outburst. It was sustained behavior. AJ was subjected to physical punishment that went far beyond discipline. He was hit, he was restrained, he was isolated. Later testimony would reveal acts that were deliberate, not accidental. This was not a moment of frustration. It was a pattern of harm. And it continued quietly. At 5 years old, AJ depended entirely on adult decisions. He could not run away. He could not seek help on his own. He could not make himself visible again to the system. Once reunification occurred, oversight diminished. This is where many cases fail. The system intervenes once and assumes improvement. But improvement is not permanent. And compliance is not safety. In the days leading up to his death, AJ's condition deteriorated. He became weaker, more vulnerable, more fragile. On April 15, 2019, AJ Freund died. He was 5 years old. The medical examiner later determined that AJ died from blunt force trauma. His death was ruled a homicide. But before that truth was known, something else happened. After AJ died, Andrew Freund did not call for help. Instead, he constructed a story. He reported his son missing. He told police that AJ had disappeared. An Amber Alert was issued. Search teams mobilized. Neighbors watched the news. People searched for a child who was already dead. This is one of the cruelest ironies of the case. The community acted immediately while the truth was being hidden. It did not take long for the story to unravel. Timelines didn't align. Details shifted. Answers changed. Under questioning, Andrew Freund confessed. AJ had not wandered away. He had not been abducted. He had been killed. Andrew Freund led investigators to a shallow grave near a rural road where AJ's body had been buried. The search ended. The case changed. Andrew Freund was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Kimberly Freund was also arrested and charged with aggravated battery and endangering the life of a child. Both had failed AJ. Both had contributed to the environment that led to his death. In court, the facts were presented calmly and clearly. Medical testimony detailed AJ's injuries. Investigators described the deception after his death. Prosecutors outlined the abuse. The case was not complicated. Andrew Freund later pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to 60 years in prison. Kimberly Freund received a lengthy prison sentence as well. For the people who directly caused AJ's death, accountability arrived. But for many, the real questions were just beginning. Once the criminal case concluded, public attention shifted. Not to the crime itself, but to the decision that preceded it. Why was AJ returned to a home where abuse had already been documented? Why were prior warnings not enough? Why did the system believe the risk had passed? These questions are uncomfortable because they challenge procedure. The Illinois Department of Children and Family Services came under intense scrutiny. Records confirmed what many feared. AJ had been removed for abuse. AJ had been returned. AJ had died after reunification. The system did not fail to see him. It failed to keep him safe. Reunification decisions are rarely made lightly, but they are often made under pressure. High caseloads, limited resources, legal mandates favoring family reunification. In AJ's case, compliance was mistaken for change. Attendance at programs became evidence of safety. But attendance does not undo violence. Child welfare systems are designed to balance risk. But balance does not protect a child already harmed. Policy can guide action, but it cannot replace judgment. And judgment failed AJ. AJ Freund's case is not isolated. Across the country, children have been harmed or killed after being returned to unsafe homes. In many of those cases, systems had already intervened once. The danger is not ignorance. It is optimism without safeguards. When child welfare systems hesitate, families suffer. When they trust too easily, children die. The cost of misjudgment is permanent. AJ paid that cost. In AJ's case, adults were believed. Compliance was accepted. Risk was minimized. The child's vulnerability carried less weight than paperwork. This imbalance is common, and it is dangerous. AJ did not vanish. He was returned. The system did not lose track of him. It made a decision. That distinction matters. After AJ's death, officials promised a review. Policies were examined. Oversight was discussed. Training was emphasized. But reforms always come after tragedy. They do not save the first child. AJ Freund was 5 years old. He was removed. He was returned. He was killed. The system did not fail to notice him. It failed to protect him. And that difference should never be ignored. Thank you for watching Silent Evidence: True Crime Exposed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time for another chilling true story.